Guess what? When I bought my first Caravan way back in 1972, the one I really wanted to buy and couldn't afford was a Lunar. Roll the clock forward and here I am looking at a Lunar many years later at a main dealer called Pope's in Biggleswade. And this isn't a cheap entry-level van either. It's got all kinds of stuff thrown in, and we're going to go through each of these little bits, studying them and seeing why it gains the price it gains. And I tell you, this one has a lot going for it. As always, I like to talk about a few technical things that people don't always expect to consider when they buy a Caravan. But you know jolly well, if you're an owner, that if you take the plug out the sink, very often the water doesn't really run away very fast. I've looked underneath this van, and the Lunar people have used solid hose, and this, or solid pipe is a better way of calling it, because that helps the water rush through. Now the fact is it's no good if that's laid level, and when the van is level, that's got to have a slight slope. Guess what? This sad old anorak checked it out with a spirit level only yesterday when I was looking over it, and it's perfect. So on this van, when you take the plugs out the sink or out the shower tray, that water's going to disappear fast. That's a very good technical feature. Another feature you find on upmarket Caravans is to do with the plumbing, the freshwater system. For instance, rather than using flexible pipes that get kinks in, they use semi-rigid pipe. And the point about this is, it's coupled up not with hose clips, but with fittings that you push onto the end, and then you can't pull apart. It's a high quality arrangement, and it's something like this that I've found in the Lunar Clubman. What on earth are we doing here? Well, let me explain. This is a wide van. It's 2.29 metres, that's 7'6", and because of all that width, it's possible to construct the bed across the van. And here it's in the up position, a vast cavern underneath for storing things, access also from an outside locker, and this is it in the down position. You can see it's a splendid mattress. It hasn't got cut-offs like is so common in the mattresses on the beds that are tucked down one corner. It's got access from both sides. I like it. It's got a headboard, and another thing they've got is a set of shelves either side, so that if you do like your morning tea, it isn't just the one person that gets the benefit of that shelf. And if you do need to get out for other purposes, all you have to do is go here, because when that slides back, you're into the washroom and toilet. The first thing I noticed going into the washroom is that the toilet is not a swivel bowl Thetford model, but a Dometic. And interestingly, Dometic has made it so that it's the seat that swivels in the direction that you want. And just alongside it there's a radiator, one of several radiator systems, because this van has Aldi central heating. The basin is pleasant, it's suitably narrow so that you can get past, and the thing that I especially like is the shower unit. It's wide, much wider than normal, so space isn't at a premium. Add to that the fact that there are two shelves for all your various bottles and soaps and so forth, and that's one of the better ones I've seen in a while. Now we're in the living room, a nice spacious place, and also a light one. Now that's strange, isn't it? Because unlike three of the major manufacturers in this country, it hasn't got one of these big windows that goes up in the centre into the roof. It's got conventional Hecky windows. To make this into a crossways bed, this pulls out to fill in the centre portion. It passes the test, the bits don't fall off, and it would make a double bed going across here. Remember, as I said earlier, this is a wide Caravan. Now under the seats, of course, we've got various controls. For instance, here we've got electrics. We've then got the central heating system. In addition, we've got lighting, LED lighting all around the outside, comfortable cushions. Yeah, I like this, it's good. And so to the kitchen. Well designed, plenty of space, and those people who always make a fuss about not enough preparation area for doing my salads and my whatevers, there it is. Incidentally, of course, when you're washing up, then there is a proper basin and facility for the draining of the dishes. We'll take that off now because it isn't needed. We're not going to do the washing up at the moment, though I will say that the tap system is all operated by pressure sensitive switching. No micro switches to go wrong in this. A big oven as well, and all in all, what is good enough for most people's needs. Even bigger still perhaps is the big Dometic fridge, and that's got a good capacity, it's nicely fitted out, and I think that would suit people's needs on today, which happens to be a pretty hot day. Now when it comes to the microwave, we're going to have to look on the other side, and I don't have any problem with that, and I am pleased to say that like many other Caravans of 2013, they brought the height down. That's important because when you have a high microwave and you're a short person, taking out the cup of hot coffee can be a little bit dangerous. So we're well pleased, we critical journalists, of the lower microwave ovens. And here we go, that's one if you're the sort of person who wants to just heat up his cold tea. All in all, fine. On reflection, there are a number of things in this Lunar Clubman SI that we didn't have a chance to look at. For instance, if you purchase one of these, you also get included a tracking system and the first year's subscription, and that's a nice security item. Otherwise, well, yes, it adds up to 1495 kilograms if you load it to the maximum permissible amount. What can tow 1495 kilograms if you top it up? Well, I'm a Caravan Club member and I go on the website and I check out the matching service. Several BMW 5 Series of the last few years are fine with this. An A6, one or two here or there. If you have a Jaguar XF in the last few years, no problem at all. If you have a Mondeo, you're going to struggle a little bit. Although I noticed that if you're experienced and you are willing to carry a heavy Caravan on the back, then there's one or two that you could use. Look, it's been a privilege to see this. A fine van. I think you should go and have a look at one too.